Let's turn to politics now. President Trump running out of options as he suffers another defeat in court. One of the president's closest advisors, Christie, slamming his legal team as a, quote, national embarrassment. Meantime, the president's still refusing to concede and back on the golf course this weekend, even skipping a G20 event on the coronavirus as cases soar across the country. And President-elect Joe Biden saying the delayed transition of power could put American lives at risk. ABC's Rachel Scott in Washington tonight.
Tonight, one of the president's closest advisors blasting his efforts to try and overturn the 2020 election, joining a small but growing number of Republicans speaking out.
What's happened here is, quite frankly, the conduct of the president's legal team has been a national embarrassment.
The president's legal cases continue to be thrown out for lack of evidence. His campaign and allies have lost in court at least 30 times. The latest blow out of Pennsylvania, where a judge delivered a blistering ruling, calling the campaign's claims haphazardly stitched together like Frankenstein's monster. The state's Republican Senator Pat Toomey calling on the president to accept the outcome of the election, saying he has exhausted all plausible legal options. And Maryland's Republican Governor Larry Hogan saying he's embarrassed more members of the party aren't recognizing Joe Biden as president-elect.
I just don't think there are a lot of profiles in courage. We all know how vindictive the president can be.
But it appears more Republicans are starting to come to terms with reality. Senator John Cornyn now saying it's time for Biden to start receiving intelligence briefings. But the president is still refusing to concede an election he overwhelmingly lost, spending more time on the golf course this weekend, even skipping a G20 event on the pandemic. And as coronavirus cases across the country soar, President-elect Joe Biden's team pressing on, but saying there's only so much they can do without an official transition, warning the stonewalling is putting American lives at risk.
The president-elect, the vice president-elect are not getting the kind of intelligence briefings they're entitled to. Our transition isn't getting access to agency officials to help develop our plans. And there's a lot of focus on that vaccine rollout plan that's going to be critical in the early days of a Biden presidency. We have no access to that. And we're not getting background checks.
Those FBI background checks are a critical part of the confirmation process for cabinet officials and can't be done until Biden's team gains access to federal agencies. Biden now just 48 hours out from announcing his first picks.
You're going to see the first of the president-elect's cabinet appointments on Tuesday of this week.
All right, Rachel Scott joins us from Washington. And Rachel, we just heard there Joe Biden's incoming chief of staff. They are saying they need access to these federal agencies, but still the president and his legal team are pressing forward, trying to overturn the election.
Tom, the president's legal team is already trying to appeal that decision out of Pennsylvania and in Georgia, where election workers have already tallied every single vote by hand. The Trump campaign is now demanding a recount. But Tom, none of these new efforts change the fact that they have yet to present any credible evidence to back up their claims. And federal and state officials have insisted that this election was safe and secure, Tom.
Rachel Scott for us. Rachel, thank you.